Hello, good afternoon and welcome to stunning Cable Beach, located here in marvellous, picture perfect and sunny Broome, Western Australia. You're not too familiar about Broome, that's okay. It's a very popular tourist town located here in the stunning and vast Kimberley region of West Australia. By road, it's about 2,000 kilometres north of Perth. Cable Beach itself is very famous for many things. In 1889, it was the landing site of the telegraph cable, which connected Australia with East Java in Indonesia. It's also famous for its absolutely spectacular sunsets out over the Indian Ocean there. Absolutely some of the world's best. You can drive on the beach in certain areas with your four-wheel drive, and you can even take the world famous camel trains, which are apparently really good during sunset. So first thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to be doing something very exciting on the Aussie JetSetter YouTube channel. I'm going to be one of the first ever people to review Australia's newest airline. And no, not to trick you, it's not Bonza, which for all intents and purposes doesn't even exist anymore. We're going to be reviewing Nexus Airlines, which is a West Australian based regional airline. So Nexus Airlines itself as an airline brand are a relatively newcomer to the West Australian regional aviation market. They operate a number of routes within West Australia, quite a few milk run style routes. They also operate as far north as Darwin. So Nexus Airlines have a small fleet of Dash 8 Q400 aircraft. So they operate flights between Perth and Geraldton, which then continue on to Karratha, then on to Port Hedland, then up to Broome. They also operate another service which connects Broome with Darwin in the Northern Territory, which travels via Kununurra. This puts them in direct competition with Air North, who also operate on the route. So ever since Nexus Airlines began operations here in West Australia about a year or so ago, I've been really keen to give them a go, possibly on the route between Perth and Geraldton. Really wanted to do this one on a weekend, but trying to get availability of weekend flights really didn't work around my other commitments, unfortunately. But here we are up here in Broome. I've covered the inaugural Jetstar Asia service from Singapore down to Broome a couple of days ago, which you must check out on the channel. It was a really amazing experience. Because we're up here in Broome, that has given me the perfect opportunity to now give them a go. So tomorrow we're going to be flying the Dash 8 Q400 between here in Broome and Kununurra in the far east Kimberley region of West Australia. The Kimberley region is that massive that even though we're still flying within the Kimberley region, it's a road distance of over 1,000 kilometres. So we're now about 45 minutes until the sun goes down, so I'm going to stay here, relax and enjoy the iconic Cable Beach sunset. Then first thing in the morning, you're going to come join me as we experience one of the first ever Nexus Airlines reviews. Really think it's going to be a good one, so let's do this. So now let's just take a few moments to enjoy that absolutely stunning Cable Beach sunset. Really can understand how it's one of Australia's most famous. And just like that, before we head to the airport in the morning, let's now have a look at the route information for today's flight over to Kununurra. So flight GD212 is probably the longest sub-regional intrastate flight in Australia. Travels wholly within the Kimberley region from the coastline of Broome to the East Kimberley region of Kununurra. 730 kilometre Great Circle distance. The route then also continues on from Kununurra up to Darwin. By road, it's over 1,050 kilometres between Broome and Kununurra. Gazetted flight time is about an hour and a half, which is slightly slower than Air North's Embraer jet service. Load today, we're going to do it in a little over 1 hour. And just like that, welcome to Broome International Airport. It's about 6 in the morning, so bright and early. And up here in the Australian tropics, it's the middle of a winter. It's about cold as it's going to get, about 13 degrees Celsius. But yeah, fear not, it's going to be 30 degrees later in the day. Great thing about Broome International Airport is its location. It's located only about 700 metres from smack bang in the middle of town. This means if you're travelling relatively light and you're actually staying in Broome town, it's relatively easy just to walk to the airport. For most people, you're only going to be about 5 to 30 minute walk depending on where you're staying in town. For me, it's about a 25-minute walk this morning, so that's really pleasant at this time of day. If you are staying at Cable Beach, it's theoretically still possible to walk, but it's going to take probably a double that from the town site, so that's probably when you're going to want to get a transfer. So Broome International Airport itself, prior to the pandemic, it was rating as the 20th busiest airport in Australia. Largely has now returned to pre-pandemic levels of traffic, averages around 400,000 yearly passenger movements according to the latest statistics. As the gateway to Australia's Kimberley region, it's actually the 4th busiest airport in the whole of West Australia, behind Perth, Kununurra and Port Hedland. Aside from the bombing of Darwin in World War II, Broome was also one of the major sites of air raids here in Australia. The airfield here in Broome was actually attacked on the morning of 3rd of March 1942, with the bombing of Broome resulting in 88 deaths. Fast forward to today, traffic here at Broome Airport is quite seasonal indeed. You've got year-round flights to Perth on quite a frequent basis with Virgin Australia and Qantas Link. On top of that, you also got frequent Air North and Nexus flights to Kununurra and Darwin. On top of that, you also got seasonal flights with Qantas that connect Melbourne and Sydney. You also got seasonal flights to Singapore with Jetstar Asia, which only started very recently. Happened to have the joy of covering the inaugural flight down from Singapore Changi Airport. So be sure to check out that one. Check-in here at Broome Airport, it's all very easy and quiet this morning. Everything's done under the one roof for Qantas Link, Air North, Virgin Australia and Nexus. Also Jetstar Asia if you're flying to Singapore on the several times weekly service. No self-serve kiosks or bag drop facilities for any airline here, but really don't need it here in Broome. All very easy and quick with Nexus. Just have a form of ID ready for check-in. And just like that, check-in and bag drop is all complete for our flight this morning. Security also very easy here in Broome as well. Bag drop only opens 90 minutes before for Nexus flight, so no real need to get to the airport any earlier than that. So really nice airport here in Broome, quite an open air sort of format like many airports in Northern Australia. Thankfully, international flights now have returned with the Jetstar Asia flight to Singapore. Had taken this flight into Broome a couple days ago and can comment the international arrival process into Broome was really smooth, considering it's the first time they had processed an international flight since the Silk Air trial flight before the pandemic. Before we head on board our aircraft this morning, let's have a look at our Nexus Airlines Dash 8 Q400 aircraft. There's a total of 5 of them in the fleet. Fortunately, this is not our exact aircraft, but today we're going to be flying on Victor Hotel 8 X-Ray Sierra. Like all of the Dash 8s in Nexus's fleet, they're all about 11 to 15 years of age. This one we're flying on today is about 13.5 years old at time of flight. First flew for Air Baltic, where it was delivered in 2010. Nexus Airlines, under its parent company AV Air, acquired the aircraft in 2023. And just like that, boarding is now called on time, looking like it's going to be a very quiet and pleasant flight this morning. No electronic devices to be used on the tarmac, so we'll have a look at the exterior of our Nexus plane once we get to Kununurra. So welcome aboard our Nexus Airlines Dash 8 Q400, 76 seats in total on this aircraft in a largely fairly standard 2-2 configuration. First row only has seats on the left hand side and the last row only has seats on the right hand side, I believe. In terms of seating itself, you've got a fairly standard 30 inches of seat pitch, so neither amazing, neither terrible, fairly normal for a turboprop flight. Seat pitch is also fairly standard 17 inches. You also got a fold back tray table that folds out. And yeah, you've got basic in-flight literature such as in-flight safety card.
So Lockie would like to welcome you aboard Nexus Airline flight to Darwin via Kununurra, currently operated by your Western Australian based crew. Wearing a face mask is no longer compulsory on aircraft, but if you would like one, please let the crew know. Your Nexus team really appreciate you choosing to fly with us today, and we look forward to making your journey one to remember.
To prepare for our departure, we now ask that you're in your allocated seat with your seatbelt securely fastened. For customers seated in one of our emergency exit rows, all bags must be in the overhead locker for takeoff and landing. Please also ensure that your seat is upright, armrests are down, and your full attention is much appreciated. Please ensure your seat back is up, your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated to avoid injury in the event of unanticipated turbulence. To fasten your seatbelt, push both ends together until they click. To tighten, pull this strap. To release, lift this clasp.
And without further ado, what better time now to sit back, relax and enjoy those Nexus Airlines turboprop engines fire up as we taxi to the runway and our absolutely spectacular sunrise takeoff out of Broome this morning. As you will see, there's some absolutely incredible scenery on today's flight, so let's just enjoy it now, and once in the air I'll then offer my thoughts on the Nexus Airlines in-flight experience. And just like that, after a spectacular takeoff out of Broome, we're well and truly on our way up to our cruising altitude of 25,000 feet this morning, where we're going to be swapping out the amazing coastline views of Broome for the stunning rugged landscapes of Australia's East Kimberley region. So today's flight is turning out to be a very comfortable and enjoyable one, indeed a very quiet flight, probably less than 1/3 full, probably less than 20 passengers on the flight. So I've got the whole row to myself, which is really great. Do keep in mind, however, with Nexus Airlines, they currently do not have the ability to select reserve a seat online. You do, however, have the option to send them an email like I did, where they can put in a request to reserve a seat for you. So that absolutely worked flawlessly, so highly recommend you reserve a window seat on this flight because the scenery is absolutely stunning outside. In terms of what you can expect on board Nexus Airlines, the website doesn't make a huge amount of representations as to what the experience might be like. But be rest assured, Nexus Airlines is a full service airline, so you do get included 23 kilo baggage allowance, which you can split over 2 bags. You also do get in-flight food and beverage suitable to the time of day as well. As we're flying at breakfast, there is a breakfast service with suitable refreshments as well. So in terms of the food offering this morning, I'm really impressed with Nexus Airlines. Their catering seems to be really good. I'm offered fresh yogurt with granola, also offered fresh fruits. They had bananas and mandarins, I think. Got a banana which was really good. They also came around with tea, coffee and juices. For a short regional flight within West Australia, can't say how impressed I am with the catering on board Nexus Airlines. It's really fresh food as well, not mass-produced snacks that you're usually going to get on QantasLink or a similar sort of airline. A lot of the food and drinks on board as well are locally sourced where possible, so that's really great to see, really helps out the local economies of the region. Let's now have a quick look at the onboard restroom, just the one at the forward rear of the aircraft on the Dash 8 Q400. So all in all, fairly stock standard turboprop restro. Nonetheless, it's kept clean and tidy. Also got everything you need. Got a baby change table as well. Even got running water, which is good to see, unlike some other turboprops which do not have. Now as I make my way back to my seat, can't help but comment how impressed I've been with my first ever Nexus Airlines experience today. Everything really has been flawless. The service on board has been really amazing. Really old-fashioned hospitality done right in my opinion. The aircraft's kept in pretty good nick as well, which is great to see. And yeah, the food on board is really good. And yeah, the views outside are absolutely jaw-dropping.
Absolutely beautiful day for flying today. We'll have you on the ground to Kununurra about 20 minutes time. The weather around Kununurra nice and fine, very pleasant, 23 degrees. Have a great stay, enjoy yourself there, it's a fantastic spot, and thanks for choosing to fly with Nexus.
So now what better time to just sit back, relax and enjoy the stunning scenery out there as we cruise out over the East Kimberley region of West Australia and we make our way further closer to Kununurra. Just like that, after an hour or so in the air, the crew come around to hand out a mint chew, which is a really nice way to wrap up today's flight. So what better time now to sit back, relax and enjoy this absolutely breathtaking landing into Kununurra East Kimberley Airport this morning. It's a real ripper of a landing.
Darwin, please remain on board during this transit. If we have moved to another seat during the flight, please return to your original allocated seat. It's been a pleasure having you on board our Nexus Airline flight today. We appreciate you choosing us as frequency for
And just like that, welcome to West Australia's most northern gateway here at East Kimberley Regional Airport, also known as Kununurra Airport. It's only about 2 kilometres from the town site of Kununurra, which is the capital of West Australia's East Kimberley region. Whilst Kununurra itself might not be the biggest town, only about 6,000 people in terms of population, very much is a regional hub due to the quite extreme isolation of the region. Very much services the nearby mining and tourism industries and is only 45 kilometres from the Northern Territory border. As the most northerly town in West Australia, which is located only 45 kilometres from the Northern Territory border and over 3,000 kilometres from Perth by road, even 850 kilometres by Darwin, it's no surprise it does have a reasonably sized airport. From here you can fly to Darwin, you can also fly to Perth, you can also fly to Broome, where we have just arrived from this morning. There's also numerous charter and scenic flights that you can take out of Kununurra, exploring the greater Kununurra Ord River catchment area. Conveniently, just like in Broome, Kununurra Airport is located very close to the centre of town, a little bit further out this one, but still a manageable 4 kilometres away. So walking still possible at a pinch, however my accommodations give me a free complimentary pickup, so that's really much appreciated. So let's head into town now. Once we're there, we'll head up to the iconic Kelly's Knob Lookout, where we'll wrap up today's very memorable flight experience with Nexus Airlines. And just like that, welcome to absolutely spectacular Kununurra in the far north Kimberley region of West Australia. We're so far north, we're over 3,000 kilometres by road from Perth, and we're only about 45 kilometres from the Northern Territory border. We're up here at the absolutely stunning Kelly's Knob Lookout, which offers 360-degree panoramic views over the Kununurra town site and the spectacular surrounding Kimberley region and the Ord River catchment area. It's a short half an hour return hike up to the summit of Kelly's Knob, which is about 191 metres above the town site of Kununurra, but it's well worth it. Definitely recommend doing it while you're here in Kununurra. Perhaps don't just do it in the middle of the day like I am now, because it's 35 degrees and 50% humidity, even in the middle of winter. Anyway, on to today's flight review with Nexus. First time ever flying them. One of the first ever reviews of Australia's newest airline as well, I believe. And what more could I say about the experience? It was absolutely an amazing experience. I could not fault Nexus Airlines whatsoever. They were a supremely amazing airline today. It was an extremely enjoyable journey the moment I checked in at Broome, all the way till I arrived at Kununurra. Despite the early start, it was really easy getting to Broome Airport, only about a 20-minute walk from my hotel. Then check-in was super quick, easy and friendly, only took a few seconds. Only about 15-20 people in the terminal at this time of day for the first flight of the day. So that all went swimmingly. So yeah, our flight left right on time today at 7:15 a.m. So it was a very punctual service. And it was an absolutely incredibly scenic flight as well. Flying over the Kimberley region from the coastline of Broome far into the East Kimberley region is some of the most spectacular scenery you're going to see in flight in Australia. I'd comfortably say it's the most scenic flight I've ever been on. The scenery is absolutely jaw-dropping. The cost of the airfare as well, I thought was pretty reasonable. Good to see Nexus Airlines entering the game here in West Australia. $199. I think you can also get $199 from Kununurra to Darwin as well. But considering it's a regional airline, you're going to have quite high costs, so I thought it was a pretty fair price overall. And in terms of service, I could not fault Nexus Airlines whatsoever. Two of the most friendly cabin crew I've ever had on a flight. and also sounded like a very friendly pilot as well, who was pointing out some major attractions en route to Kununurra. So that was really good. Nexus Airlines really do old-fashioned service right. Actually got served fresh food on the plane as well, including fresh fruits such as bananas and oranges. They also serve fresh juice and also tea and coffee, and also fresh yogurt with granola. So that was really, really amazing. Some of the freshest, cleanest, less mass-produced food on a plane I've ever had. So that was fantastic. So all in all, first experience flying Nexus Airlines today. I've been so excited to try them since I ever started operations about a year or so ago now. And I think I picked absolutely the most perfect route to give it a go. And yeah, everything was absolutely flawless today, and the scenery really complemented the flawless service. So all round, absolutely cannot fault Nexus today. I know in more recent flight reviews, I've moved away from giving airlines overall scores, but if I was to give Nexus an overall score today, I would definitely be no problems in giving it a 10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this amazing experience with Nexus Airlines today, which I can assure you was certainly not sponsored or paid for, or they didn't even know about, really appreciate you do give it a like, leave your comments down below. Most importantly, if you do enjoy my content, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel, flicking that bell and notification button on so you won't miss the next one. Without sounding like a broken record, you can also visit my website, aussiejetsetter.com.au, for easy navigation to all my content. Also some written reviews on there as well, so be sure to check out that one. You may also wish to visit my dedicated socials. I'll put a link in the description down below, maybe my Instagram page, maybe my Aussie JetSetter shorts channel. Catch up with what I'm doing around the world in real time. Maybe enjoy my dedicated Discord server for fans and community of the channel. So there you have it, folks, from here at spectacular Kelly's Knob Lookout in magnificent Kununurra, West Australia. Thanks so much for watching today's very unique trip report with Australia's newest airline. And until next one, safe travels wherever that might take you.